Get you set up here. Hello. How are we? Time for new stuff. How do we be? It is the 2025 Dina Wakley Media release for August. August. End of August. It is August 27th, if you can believe that. Get you pulled up. How is everyone doing on this fine Wednesday? Let me find you. Okay, I gotcha. All right, thank you so much for popping on. Good morning, friends. So glad you're with me. We'll just wait a few minutes for everybody to pop on, and then we will, hey Patty, we will show you the goods. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the new products, and then I will show you the samples that I made. Hey Kathy from Ranger. And then I will do a little demo, and then I'll let you get on with your Wednesday. If you're a store, please feel free to promote and tell us about your stuff and your store links. I don't know if you can drop links in YouTube comments, but you can always say who you are and where people can find you. Hello, thanks so much for being here. I taught in Prescott this last weekend, and on Monday, when a bunch of friends who had come to the workshop were going home, they got stuck at the airport in that haboob. Hello. And a haboob is a Native American word that's the word for a dust storm. And I'm sure it even made national news if you see the video of the wall of dust moving through. It even blew some of the roof off of the airport, apparently. Your son lives in Gilbert and took a video of it. Yeah, it's nutty. It happens, we get them. Listen, our monsoon seasons are crazy. We've had a terrible monsoon this year too, by the way. So our drought's going to be even worse. But the monsoons, like we've had our garage door blown in. They've snapped electrical poles. People's roofs blow off. Like monsoons can be like crazy hurricane level winds. They're usually really brief and sort of nutty. The dust storms, the haboobs, happen maybe once a year. I did not see Tim. I was teaching. I was working. Anyway, so they got to experience a haboob. One time we were outside when a haboob started, and we were barbecuing, and then we turned off the grill and we ran inside. And my friend later said we were barba-haboobing, which I think is really funny. And my son, because when you grow up in Arizona, like if there's little weather, it's really exciting. So my son was running around when the dust started blowing. He got a particle of dust stuck in his eyelash follicle, and he ended up with like this giant inflamed eye from a little particle of dust. So it's crazy. And our food in the grill ended up covered in dirt from all the dust. So good times. Anyway, I appreciate you guys popping on so I can show you the new stuff. It's always exciting. There's a couple of peaks here. Let's see how many peaks there are in this. There are, well, yeah, almost everything is peaked here. Well, not quite. So glad you guys are joining me. All right, it looks like popping on just kind of slowed down. So shall we show you the goods? I'll show you the goods, the new stuff first. New products. Always an exciting day. All right. First thing is anticipating and waiting. Ooh, got two of those for some reason. I and grab the right ones. All right. So we have finally in gloss form the 6 new colors that came out a few months ago. The 6 new colors that are absolutely delicious. They're going to come with droppers. So if you are someone who loves the sprayers, you just need to replace them. Okay, which one I'm missing? I'm missing lavender. All right. Hello, friends. Dorothy from Tucson was in my class in Prescott. The green one's going to look really dark. You got to do it a lot of shaking and mix that pigment. So they'll come with droppers. Now you're either a dropper person or a sprayer person. So remember, if you like the sprayers, then if you buy a gloss that comes with the dropper, you can buy the sprayers. Okay, so go ahead and put a sprayer in. I have some of both. I have some of both. If you hate the sprayers, then these ones come with droppers. So it just depends. Remember, at the end of this demo or video, I'm going to demo a little bit about gloss, and I'll talk to you about the Megan method. Megan Quillen figured out how to make them not clog. So remember, they have a ball bearing. It looks like an ink. It's not an ink. It is an acrylic paint in some resin with a really cool finish and looks that you can't get any other way. So the 6 new colors in gloss form to match the paints are minty, watery, papaya, sunshine, and taffy, and lavender. And I've been using them like crazy. They're just such a good addition to the line. So there's also pastels like carnation and mineral. So these ones are not as light as carnation. Like I would say taffy is darker than carnation. So carnation and heather are like lighter, and then these are a step darker. So anyway, they're just such a great addition. So yay, new gloss. I love gloss. I use it all the time. One of my most used materials. It's misunderstood. I've done lots of different videos on gloss. So you can always go back on my YouTube channel here and find other demo videos on gloss, but I use it a lot. So happy to have these colors in gloss form, and you'll see them all over the samples. All right, two new stencils today. Blushing, I would say blushing is a little darker than these colors. So 2 new stencils today. Let's see what I named them, because you never know. Frond. This is a frond coaster because it's a frond. I love my circular coaster stencils. I love them. I love them. I use them all the time. Half the time we don't use a whole stencil anyway. We're only stenciling part of it. And so sometimes I feel like, you know, you got a giant stencil, you use bits and pieces of it. So I love these little ones. So this one's called Frond, and this one is called Flowing Petals. You'll see these, of course, throughout. A little funny thing about this, that one stencil makes me think of hops for beer. Oh yeah, cool. So this, I had this stencil, my prototype in my stash when I taught at Art and Soul, and both Pam and Karina found it in my stash that I had brought, and both of them came up to me separately and said, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oops, that's a prototype stencil. It's coming out this year. This is it." So anyway, it's super fun to play with, and I'm awesome on the gel plate. Awesome for all the things. All the things. We all need new stencils at all times, right? So Frond and Flowing Petals. Cool? All right. And then 3 stamp sets. 3. I wanted to do 3 stamp sets this time because I designed these ages ago, and they've been in the pipe for a very long time, and I was just impatient. I still have a couple that I've designed that haven't come out yet. But I was just impatient. I wanted to do 3. And then when I started making samples, I sort of regretted it. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of stamp sets to make samples with. So 3 new stamp sets. We did, excuse me, choking on my own spit. Gosh, we did Scribbly Ravens. I thought these would be great as Halloween's coming up. And you want to make spooky samples. Verbs. So, Scribbly Ravens, brand new. 1 solid. Oh, do you hear my kitty? She likes the birds and the rest. You can paint color. So scribbly ravens are new. Their beaks aren't really as big as a true raven beak. Somebody posted on my Instagram one or on my Facebook, and I thought it was such a great saying that a crow is a bird with a beak and a raven is a beak with a bird. But you know, corvids. We'll just call them corvids, right? So these are new scribbly ravens. We have regal bears. So the bears have been super popular, which I love and which I appreciate. So this set is called Regal Bears, a couple more fun bears to play with. And then I also included phrases for card making and for journal quotes and things like that. I've used the phrase blah all the time. You'll see blah showing up a lot. It just makes me happy. So Regal Bears is brand new. Super cute. Da bears. And the last one is woodland. So these are in a similar style as the fawns. So woodland. And again, I thought these were great for fall. Great for fall cards and journal pages and scrapbook pages and projects. I'm just in my animal phase. I just love them. My patron saint, of course, is a squirrel. Squirrel! And then this bird's going to pop up somewhere else. You'll see soon. But I love foxes. I think Diana was driving me home from her studio last time I was in England. And we saw a fox cross the road with a little bunny in his mouth. I was like, oh my gosh, a fox. So anyway, in similar style as fawn. So those are the 3 new stamp sets. And then we have a art tape. Now you're like, tape? Seriously? Yes, tape. I've been begging for this. Begging because I wanted a wider removable tape for masking. So if you put it on something really, really toothy, like my watercolor, my heavyweight watercolor, it might pull a little bit. But for the most part, the tape won't pull up your paper. So it's great for techniques for when you're masking off areas. It's great for holding down your dies. It's great for holding down your stencils. It's just a great art tape. So low tack tape for mixed media. So and then Kathy's so cute. She's like, what should we call it? And I'm like, anyway, so this is, art tape pink. There you go. Art tape pink. Because Dina sucks at naming things. So happy that Kathy was able to make this happen because it just sits here at my in fact, if you've been in supporters, you've probably seen it floating around because I've been using it a ton, and it's really handy to have. Is it plastic? It's like a washi. It's like a washi, and it's pink, which I love. Okay, so those are the new goods. So let me show you some samples. All right, let's see. Samples done with Regal Bears. We definitely needed this tape. So like I used the tape around this card to mask off my little square with the gloss in the center. I got really obsessed with stamping the bears, the Regal Bears, on collage sparks. Because remember the new collage sparks have white space in them. Okay, the little pads are like $5. Like here's one that I stamped on collage sparks and I ended up not using. There's another one somewhere. And so you've got a little pattern and texture already back there. I'm trying to look for a collage spark to show you what I mean. If I have one nearby. You know what I'm talking about, right? Is the tape like a strong washi? Yeah, like a strong washi. But low tack, so you can remove it. So anyway, so dig through your collage spark pads, right? And the areas that are whiter on the collage spark pads, stamp your images on them, and they just look really, really cool. So anyway, so this one is stamped on a collage spark, and so it's almost like it makes it so you don't have to color your image because you've got this cool coloring happening through your image already. So anyway, it does a lot of the work for you. for sure. You'll see in the background here a lot of the new gloss colors. You'll see flowing petals in the background here. Loving the phrases that are in the stamp set. Nice kind of simple font as well. Pastel colors happening back here with the new colors. Regal Bears. That one's Woodland, Woodland, Woodland. Let's see, this one is one that I started and didn't finish. All right, so Woodland. So I stamped a lot of this images on my type ledger this time. So sheets of type ledger, black ink pad, makes the coolest text coming through your stamp. So when new stamps arrive, I just stamp on everything. I stamp on plain collage paper tissue. I stamped on the collage spark pads. I stamped on typed ledger. I stamped on white cardstock. So go through and stamp on all the things so you can see the text coming through, and I just got sort of addicted to that. So this is one I didn't use yet. And then you'll see this popping up when you see the animals or the bears with text coming through. It's because I stamped them on typed ledgers. Woodland, Woodland. The stencils are in the background. I don't know if you can tell super well. That one I stamped on graph paper. Woodland, Woodland. More. And then remember those phrases, just because they come in Regal Bears doesn't mean you can't use them for every stamp set. Hey friends, thanks so much for being here. Everybody that said hello, hello, thank you, thank you. I'm addicted to the frames and figures. You're gonna see the frames show up quite a bit. Glosses showing up in the background. Squirrel. This bubbly stuff that you're going to see throughout is my current obsession. It is joint compound tape from Lowe's. All right, Scribbly Ravens. Stamped this one on graph paper. Stamped this raven on typed ledger. In the background, you'll see the flowing petals stencil. This one's on an art card. So the background here is an art card, and then I use the art card to layer the collage on. This would be a great card front or focal point in your journal. Background, I did a lot of tissue with the stencils, so a lot of my backgrounds are the tissue glued down, my collage paper. I still have tons of it floating around too. Like backgrounds I didn't use. You can see chunks of it. I just went through a tissue phase, and lots and lots of plain collage paper. And when I say lots, I mean lots, friends. This is what I didn't use. So fair amount here. But do that. Sit down and play. You get something new, right? I want you to sit and play. Make fodder, make all the things. And then when it's actually time to create, you've got a lot of the creative bits done. So anyway, that's some of my leftovers. Woo woo! All right, so those are Scribbly Ravens. All right, let me show you the journal samples. So here you've got the bear from Regal Bears stamped on typed ledger. You've got lots of the new gloss colors. The gloss colors, I don't even know if you could tell, but they showed up in, huge, tons of the samples. Not every sample, but most of the samples. Combined with other colors as well. So scribbly ravens, regal bears. We've got in the background the petals, flowing petals. You've got frond. Here's a bear. This one is not stamped on a. I think this is stamped on my backing paper. So you'll start putting this frond on literally everything. You'll turn the page, frond. Turn the page, frond. Turn the page, flowing petals. So this one was tissue that I glued down, and then this bear was stamped on collage spark paper. This page got out of control from me and I kept changing it, but you know, is what it is. I love this quote. I found it on Pinterest. I don't know who said it, but crows will gather when your heart cracks. They're not omens, they're witnesses. Let them perch near your sorrow. Isn't that a cool quote? Let them perch near your sorrow. This one was the frond on a piece of type ledger. Woodland. This might be done. I mean, I kept putting focal points on it, but I loved the dark around it, and so I ended up, I don't know, every time I look at it, I love it as is, so maybe it is maybe it's done. Maybe it's done. You can see a lot of that tissue. I just glued that tissue everywhere, that tissue that I played with. So fun. I think that's it for that journal. Let me switch to the craft. Double check. Yep. Regal bears. Stamped on plain transparencies. Stamped on, looks like maybe stamped on tissue and then glued onto colorful paper. Blah, 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 blah. Bird from Scribbly Ravens. Don't forget to be a little weirdo today. Did this, you did, Dina? You found it at Lowe's, right? I got obsessed with that tape, I tell you what. So a lot of these I did in supporter. So this you see me make live in supporters videos. This I made live in a supporter video. But little hanging collage here with Scribbly Ravens. These are the frames from Squared Up from last time. Remember, mix and match all your stuff. Leftover bits here. I haven't finished these, but I just like the way they looked. Okay, so those are the samples for the new release. So again, if you just popped on, I will review again. We've got the 6 colors that came out recently in paint form. We're lucky and grateful to have them now in gloss form. So we have lavender, sunshine, minty, taffy, watery, and papaya in gloss form. Yay! We have new art tape. So this is like a washi. It's a removable washi for masking, masking techniques and holding things down, dies and stencils and all the things. So happy to have a low tack tape called Art Tape Pink because I suck at naming things, but so happy to have, for Kathy to have, Kathy makes all the magic happen, I tell you what. She really does. In the art department, make it happen. Couldn't do it without them. We're a team. We're a team. Hashtag teamwork. And then we have 2 new stencils. Where did I put them? stencils are flowing petals and a frond. There's a frond. There's flowing petals. Woo, woo, woo. And then we have 3 stamp sets. Woodland. Regal Bears. And Scribbly Ravens. So there you go. That's what's new. All right, let's talk gloss for a second. So, like I said, gloss is misunderstood sometimes. And because we originally put it in spray bottles, you know, people kind of thought it'll work like ink. It doesn't work at all like ink because it is paint in resin. It is acrylic. It dries glossy and then it kind of starts to resist. They resist each other a little bit. It's really super cool. We came out with a clear gloss last release. We'll be using that a little bit today. Okay, so go back to the last release video and I did do a demo on clear. You can get a look with these you can't get any other way. Now, I got a lot of grief with these because they clog. And people were like, well, they suck, they clog. And then I was like, oh, they do? Because most of the time I was not even spraying them. I was pouring them out and just dipping crap in them. So, but Megan Quinlan figured out the Megan method. So this is what she says to keep them from clogging is you spray them. Let's get a tap. Okay. You spray them. Do. And they're not going to come out fine like ink because they're thick paint. They're thicker than ink, okay? You spray them, you then dip it in your dirty paint water, rinse the nozzle, make sure a few drops of water from that dirty paint water are in your lid, replace the lid, and they don't clog. There you go, okay? Now, do I still spray them? So now that I know the Megan method, I will say that I spray them more often than I used to. It is handy to be able to clear the nozzles out. So that's why with mine, if you know, these new ones are going to come with droppers, and if you want sprayers in them, you can buy sprayers. We sell the sprayers, so you can put sprayers in them. If you ever buy a color that you hate the sprayer and you want to put a dropper in, guess what? We sell droppers. So the stores that you buy all your stuff from can get those for you if they don't already have them. Okay. Now let's do a little bit of clear gloss here. Let's do it in the journal. So I'm going to spray this with clear and let it dry while I talk about a few other things. Now, when you spray through a stencil with clear gloss, you do have to be sort of heavy-handed if you want it to be a good resist. Now, if you're too, and I just rinsed, did the Megan method, if you're too heavy-handed with the clear gloss, it will seep under your stencil, right? And then you just go, oops, oh well. Let's turn it over and blot it. So let me set this aside to dry. It'll dry here in Arizona pretty quickly. Okay, while that dries, let's play with the gloss. One of my fave things to do with gloss and the droppers is start with watery shapes. Let's use a bigger brush. Ooh, dirty paint water or dirty brush or all of the above. Are we surprised? No, we are not surprised. All right, here's how I like to open these. And again, make sure you're shaking these well. I like to crack the cellophane. I like to pull the cellophane off the lid, and then I don't spend my life getting plastic off of the gloss bottles. Life's too short for that. You could be doing so many creative things. Now, if that's going to make you crazy, however, because we all have different levels of chaos that we can handle, if it's going to make you crazy, then go ahead and pick it off. But I don't. So it's going to follow the water and be super cool. So give it a path for the water to follow. Love doing that. I'm just going to set that aside to dry. I love dipping a little bit of watery. Dipping and swiping through. This is how I make most of my backgrounds for tags and for journals, samples for releases. And you layer, layer, layer. Splatter, layer, do the things. Have an experiment and an attitude of play. Play, play, play. Okay, so there's one layer. Let's see. I do have some purple in a sprayer. As you layer, they will start to resist each other, the colors. And you just get so happy. So I'll let these dry. Give a minute to give them a little kiss. Mwah, 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 mwah. Delicious. Delicious. All right, let's go back and see if my journal is drier. Sometimes I just flick that on everything. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Don't be jealous. Remember, I live in the 7th level of Hades. So, with that clear gloss on there, what will happen is the raw paper, the paper that is unprimed, will take the medium differently than the paper that you've already sealed with the clear gloss. And you just get some great tone-on-tone effects. Wipe the excess off the top. So pretty, right? I love clear gloss. I love it. Very technical technique here. Now, eventually when you have the whole thing covered with gloss, it's all sealed, okay? It's all sealed. So you can keep layering colors on, but they're gonna all kind of start to resist each other. Let's use acrylic paint on this side. Should use a brush. Let's be civilized. Civilized. All right, so brush, put gloss on that one, wipe. This one, paint on, wipe. And the clear gloss will work its magic. This was the print, right? We picked the stencil up and blotted it on this side. Ooh. I've been having a problem lately with my paints drying inside the nibs, the tops, because of Arizona. Oh, Dina. We've been so hot and dry. It's insanity. That was malachite, lavender and malachite. So because the gloss is clear, when you start with something that's already, you know, you've got pattern, print and pattern on it, like the ledger, we've got you just get the coolest effects ever, right? So pretty. So excited to have the new gloss colors to combine with all of the deliciousness of the existing line. Look how cool. Here's my watery one. Too fun. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. That is my new release. I didn't forget anything, did I, Patty and Kathy? I think that's right. And I can't wait to see you guys work your magic with what's new. I will post lots of my samples, and we'll make some art. All right, I appreciate all of you. Make sure you're looking at, you follow Ranger Inc. and me and artists who got advanced stuff, and make sure you tag us. All right, bye everybody. Snogs.